Okay, coming back, right? This is my array. So how many? What I can do here is, if I wanted to print an array, what can I do? I can say console.log array, right? I can do this, and if I run it, it will print my array, right? Like this, right? It will print my array like this. Okay, I don't know like why this displaying like this. Maybe because of the positioning, and that's it. But this is fine, right? This is one array only, right? Okay. Now, if I wanted to find how many items I have in the array, right? So what I can do is I can say length. If I run this, it will give me how many items? 7, right? 0 to 6, right? 7 items. If I wanted to fetch the first item of the array, what can I do with? Using the indexing position, right? So I have to give these brackets, and I have to give, say, let's say 0. I want to get the 0th index, right? So who is sitting at 0? 0, right? Over here. So what will I get? Complete 0, right? Let me place something different. Let's say 10. If I place 10, what will I get? 10, right? 0. Similarly, if you wanted to get 7th index value, right? This value. Okay, this is not 7th index. This is 6th index. I mean, indexing starts from 0, right? So if you say this 6, right? Let me give it as 16. So you will get what? 16 here, right? Right. So you can give the index number and you will get a value. Okay. So if I give a value, index position which does not exist, what do we get? Anyone? We've discussed that part. If anyone remembers, I'm giving an index position which does not exist in the array.
I think undefined again.
Right. It would be undefined. Let's see if I what I remember, right? Undefined.
Right.
Right. So it gives me undefined. If I give a negative number, let's say -1.
So the last one
Start
it will be
from the first begin.
so 16 undefined.
Undefined. Undefined. -2. Undefined. There is no indexing, right, for the arrays when you give negative numbers like this. Okay. So it is giving undefined, undefined. Although some of the methods which we will check now, right? See, indexing has to be from 0 to only, right? It will start from 0 and can go to the end of your length, right? Whatever that length is. Okay. So it can reach. So you understand. It starts from 0 and it goes over to that value. What could be that, right? The maximum value which you can have over there. Okay. And remember, it you cannot provide negative value. So it will say what? Undefined only. And if you give a value which is outside the range, again it will do what? Undefined only, right? If you want to get a length, we've just seen. And if you want to print the entire array, so you will what will do is you will just simply say this part. Right? You will just say this and it will print whatever that array has. Now let's start looking here, Harsh.
Just one silly question. Do we have any kind of exceptions in JavaScript? Like
Yes, yes, we have. We
you
do get
can
exception reference. Again, it's not similar to what you get in Java, right? But here it's more like an errors, right?
okay.
You get errors a lot, like reference error and all. But again, we have to discuss that, right? So we'll discuss that part. So, but the answer to your question is yes, we do get errors, and we need to handle those things, right? In JavaScript also. Okay, using try catch block. Okay, Harsh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So where I was, yes, the methods, right? So let's start exploring the methods. So okay, tell me if I wanted to get the fifth index, right, of the from this array, what should I type? I should use what? Brackets, square brackets, right?
Five. Square
And
brackets 5.
and 5, right? Okay. So this is one way of fetching the value at the particular index, right? There is one more method. If you are not okay with this, what you can do is you can use at method. Okay. And you can give the index number. You can see the 0th index, right? Will count back. See, if you wanted to get that negative value, right, you can use it this at method. So let me show you, right? If I was giving 5 over there, right, what was I getting? This is 0. Let me give 0 only, right? It makes things simple for me. So when you say 5 here, what you will get? The fifth index, right? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you will get what? 5 only, right? As an output of this. But since just I want to make a point, so let me make it 15. So what you will get? What is placed at the fifth index? 15, right? So if I run this, you get what? You get 15, right? Okay. And
Correct.
right. And again, the other way, right, which we knew till now was what? Just providing these brackets. So you could do this. And if you run this, you still get 15, right? So there are two ways to get the item from our index position. But what is the difference here? The difference is that negative part. If I was giving negative value, right, like -2 here, right, and people were thinking, okay, in our discussion we were saying, okay, some of the methods support that indexing negative, indexing also. So this is -1, so it should give me, if I'm saying -2, it should give me 15, right? But does it really give me 15? It says undefined, right? Because of using this approach, negative values are not supported, but that is supported with at. If I'm giving -2, I think it should give me 15. Let me try. You see, it gave me 15. So okay, I think we got a difference in the within the two things, right? Using directly those square
Yes.
brackets and using this at method. Okay, there are so many methods. I'll have to take it down. Whatever I've explained. So we have discussed at method, right? Okay, great. Okay, now let's explore some of the methods which we just saw, right? Let's say, okay, one more thing. With these strings, right? When we were saying, I was saying strings are immutable, right? You can't mutate the strings, right? So what does it mean? It like you cannot change the original string itself, right? Right? You can't do that. But I mean, and the same concept, right, applies in the arrays also. Okay. Okay, not okay. What I'm saying. Sorry. Let me show you on the board. Try to understand this, right? Uh, if I have an array, okay, see string when I was saying is that you can't say like can't string equals to if I say kilgen, right? And again, we were checking, right, that when you were doing a substring from it, right? When I was saying str dot slice, right? And let's say I was saying 5 to 7, right? What it was doing, it was just giving me AI as a value, right? But does it mean it has an impact on the original value of the string?
No.
No, right? It does not have a value, it has any impact on this. What it was doing is it was doing some operation on the string, and whatever the output was, if you wanted to consume it, you can. If you want to store it some other values, you can, right? But if you would still check the value of str, right, it will still print Akhiljan only, right? So this is called immutability, right? That whatever operations you're doing on that value does not have the impact on the original value, right? Over here, correct? I hope everyone
Correct,
agrees,
correct.
right? Now, when we talk about arrays, right? Let's say I have an array here of this value. Let's say Akhil. Let's say Amrendra, right? And let's say Anand. These are how many values? Three values, right? Now let's say okay. When I say this, right? Okay, let me get an array const arr equals to this, right? Const arr equals to this. And let's say that I want to remove, let's say, the last item from the array. So what I'm saying is I want to remove Anand from there, right? Okay, if I want to remove, so if I'm removing, right, so I am getting Anand as an output, which is okay. But what is happening to the original array? Does it has only Akhil and Amrendra over there, or does it have Anand also already there? What will happen to the array?
It will be changed.
No. See again, yes, the point is it can be changed. Okay, but there are methods in arrays. There are a lot of methods in arrays. I think there are 20, 30 methods in arrays. There are 30 methods, right? Out of those 30 methods, right, there are only handful of methods. If you perform some actions using those methods, right, they will have an impact on the original array itself. Okay, so it means when if you use those methods on the array, it would mutate that original array. Okay, so when I say mutate, it means it will change the original array, right? So it will not look like as it was earlier. Okay, And some of those methods are, there are a lot of them actually. Some of the methods are, there's a method called splice. Okay, there's a method called splice which does mutate your array. There is a method called reverse which mutates your array. There is a method called, I think, push and pop, right, which mutates your array, right? But there are a lot of methods which does not mutate your arrays, like slice and splice. There are two. These are two different methods. Okay, so okay, let me show you actually. Let me start writing it. Okay, I think it will start making sense. Again, I am repeating, arrays are very important in JavaScript. Okay, we do not have a lot of data structures in JavaScript. We have objects, we have arrays, and I think that's it, right? There's something called maps and sets, but people don't use it very often, right? They do all this stuff using arrays only. But so arrays becomes very important. So we have to understand about all the methods that array has, right? So again, first method, right, which we saw is, first of all, try to understand this is like an array, right? Array is like a continuous, right, a block of thing, right, where you have slots, right? This is slots here, and you have the index positions here, and index position starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Let's say, right now. It also has a length, right? So length is the number of slots you have. So we have 5 slots here, so it has 5 length, right? In JavaScript, arrays are growable, right? These are growable. You can grow them as much as you feel like, right? Right? If you compare it to Java arrays are not growable. They have a defined length with which you create them. But here in JavaScript, these are growable. How do you create array? You create an array like this. You can just create to a variable array, and you can just open the brackets and start giving the value, right? Whatever, if strings. And one more thing, right? It can contain any type of data in a single array. It's not that all the items has to be of same data type. No, you can have an array which can hold every kind of data within it. Okay, so any type of data can be stored there. Okay, so these are again the same thing which we have been discussing till now. How, let's start getting to the methods, right? So if you wanted to get a item, right, from this array, so you will have to give an index position. Just a second. You have to give an index position, right? And we just saw, right, what you can do is you can say something like this. You can say array, and you have to give an index position, right? And if you give it this way, right, it has to be from 0 and it has to be a positive value, right? Right, if you give within the range, right, within the range it will give you a value. But if you give a thing, right, which is out of range, it will give you undefined. If you give negative value, it will give you undefined. We just talked about one more method, which is an at method. So how will you do it? You will use array dot at has as you access all the methods, and you can give the index position here, right? So if you give 0 any positive value, this will still hold. But if you give again out of range values, it will say undefined. But if you give negative values here, right, like this, let's say negative -1, it will start treating them as this: -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, right? So it will see things like this. So if you say -1, it will get you an item which is placed at the 4th index if you go from left to right, right, like in this position. Okay, so this supports negative values. Okay, supports, it does supports, it does not does that, right? It gives you the value. So add is that method. Now coming to, I told you about mutability, right? There are some methods, right? If you use on the array, it will change the size of the array, it will change some values on the array. And there are some methods which does not have that impact on the original array. Okay, so whenever a method changes the original array, I will say it has the power to mutate the original array. Okay, and you have to be very mindful of using them, because while you are writing a logic, you have to understand it. If you use those methods, they are changing your original array. Okay, and it can have some impact, right, on your logic and all the stuff around it. Let's start doing it. So the first method, right, which we should start discussing it, the one which we recently did, which was a slice method. In strings also, right, we just saw slice. What does slice do? Slice, it's like cutting a slice, right? Let's say you have a butter and you're slicing it, right? So that is that slice, right? So you want to create slice. When we were talking about strings, right, you were giving a start index position, right? index position and the end index position, right? And what it was doing, it was getting the substring within the original string, right, and giving it to you, right? It was doing this. The similar thing will happen with arrays also. Let's go back. Let me comment it out. Let's say I wanted to get this array dot split. You can see, okay, let me show you the method. You can see, right? Okay, why it is saying a string here? Okay, string dot split. Okay, have I not commented that out? Oh, let me just save this. But come on, man, where is my split? Slice, sorry, slice method, right? I'm saying split. Slice method, right? The slice method, you can see the beginning index, right, of the specified portion of the array. If start is undefined, then the slice begins at index 0. Returns a copy of a section of an array. Okay. For both end and start, a negative index can be used to indicate an offset from the. Okay. For example, -2 refers to the second to last index. Okay. Leave it. What it means is, let's say this is the array, right? 0 to 6. So if I want to extract, let's say this 4 and 15, right? So if I go with the positive indexing, right? This is 0 index, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So if I say 4, comma 5, I show the negative index does not include this value. So it would be 4, comma 4. So it will be like it will giving me you this 4 only, right? So I need 15 also. So I would say 6 here. And let me run this. Let me get into a variable. So I will say const array2 equals to this. Let me now print both the arrays. Console.log array, and let me print this also, array2. Okay, and let's run this. If you would see, right, the original array is not impacted. It still has that 4 and 15 there, right? It did not cut that item from the original array, right? Right, it did not do that. It just copied those values from that array, right? And now giving it back, right, to this new array, right, to this part, right? And try to understand, this also is forming a new array only, right? It is forming a new array where you have the item of these things, right? So let me write splice here creates a new array with the defined values in the mentioned range. So this is my range, right? So I'm saying get the item at this positions, right? 4 to 6. So it excludes this part, that number here, right? So it took the fourth and the fifth index position values, clubbed them together, formed the array, and assigned it to array 2. But in the whole process, it did not make any impact on the original array. My original array still have all these values. Agree, right? Slice, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me
Yes, sir.
right now let me show you one more part, right, which does the similar stuff, but it has the impact. So what the slice do is it does not mutate the original array. Okay, let's talk about similar sounding method which it has, which is called splice. Okay, so there it was called being slice, and this is called as splice. So just a p over there, right? People get confused, even I get confused a lot of time. Okay, so this is called splice, just an extra p here, right? Now let's see what it will do. I will do the similar stuff. So this is my original array, right? I am saying array 3, and I would not say splice, I would say splice. Okay, let me show you the method here. Removes element from an array, right? And leave this part, but try to understand the an array containing the elements that were deleted. Okay, so it is like, see, try to understand here what is happening. It's create a new array with the defined value, right? It is like it is creating a copy, right? creating a copy. When you create a copy, right, it does not mean that you're deleting the original thing, right? So it's a creating a copy. But here, the splice, the original intent of the splice is that you want to delete those values from the original thing, right? So you're deleting the values from original array, okay? And whatever you're deleting, right, you're maintaining a copy of the deleted values, okay? And maintain the value of deleted items, right? How? By forming a new array and keeping all the deleted items over there. So what it will do is, when I do this part, right, it will extract the items from the array from this position, starting this position till that sixth thing, right, and ignoring the sixth part. So it will remove fourth and fifth, which is this items 4 and 15, right? So it will remove these items. So from the original array, these items would be removed, 4 and 15 would be removed, and you will see only 0, 1, 2, 3, and 6. Okay, right? And so it means you're changing the original array, you're mutating the original array. Okay, let me print console.log. Okay, array here, right? Console.log array 3 here now. And right, and once it is removing those items, right, it will form an array of those removed items, and I'm just assigning it to a new variable here, right? So let's run this to see the output. Or should I run this? Oh, I don't want to confuse. Let me just remove it here, right? Even let's remove this part. Okay. So let's run this. Okay, let's remove the sixth also. Okay, now there is one more catch. Okay, splice also removes the. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's not the end index, it's the delete count. Okay, got it. Okay. See, these are like small things which you'll have to remember. I don't remember those parts. I only rely on reading the documentation then when I'm using it. Okay. So what is happening here is, here, right, this method does not accept like start index and end index. No, it accepts the start index. So I'm giving, okay, start from which index? Fourth index, which is this part. But then it says after this, how many values I have to remove. When I was saying 6 here, right, what it did was it started counting, right? It said, okay, fourth is the first value, this is the second value, this is the third value, fourth value, fifth value, sixth value. But 4, 5, 6 does not exist, right? So it did not bother to get them, right? So it was able to collect the only 3 values, so it formed them and placed them into the array. And you can see, right? And the original array, right, the values were removed, 4, 15, and 16. Okay, let's say, okay, let me run it again. So if I do this again, right, you can see it's the same part. If I do this with the 3 thing, right, you will see the same thing happening. So it is saying start from 4 and collect 3 values, right? 4, it collected 1 value, 15, it collected second value, 6 is collected the third value. Let's run it. You see, let me give it as 2. So how many values it will collect? 2, right? So let's run it. So starting from 4, it will collect 4, first item, then it will collect 15, second item. Great. So it will stop. So what you will be remaining with? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 6. You can see, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 4 and 15. Okay. What else I want to show? Yeah, one more thing, right? Let's say you ignore this, right? What it will do is it will start from fourth and run till the end of the array, right? So if you wanted to remove all the item right after the fourth index, just run it like this. Okay, how do you come to know that the second parameter is optional? How do you come to know about it? You can check the documentation here, right? See here. You see, this is the method, right? If you see start, right, it says start column number. So this means this is a mandatory thing, right? But check at the second parameter. You have a question mark here, right? Question mark. Whenever you see a question mark, in the parameter, right, of a function, it means that particular argument, right, is optional. It's up to you whether you want to provide it or not, right? And these are called like optional parameters, right? We have not talked about them. We'll talk more about it, right, in the later part. But this is what you should understand now, because since we are discussing a lot of methods, okay? This is like an optional thing. If you wish, like, you can provide. Yes, Amin, please.
Yeah, Ankit. So
Your
I'm
voice
asking
is very
like,
low. I mean,
yeah, now is it good?
it's better, but not very loud still. But yeah,
Okay,
please,
now.
please go ahead with the query.
Yeah, the thing is, they were using the spice method. So the original array will be mutable. Like
In the slice method,
splice, splice.
in the splice method, yes, the original array is mutable, right?
Yeah.
Which is correct. Yes. So what is
So
your question?
so what we can summarize like array is mutable or immutable.
Arrays are mutable.
Okay.
Okay, arrays are mutable,
Okay. Okay.
right? Arrays
Yeah.
are mutable, so it's not that right. But second point, which you might have, right, which you might should get, is you're assigning an array to a const value. So how it is mutable,
Yeah.
right? Someone can have that doubt, right? Why is this the case? Why am I able to make some changes to a variable which is assigned with const? Then are we really is really const working the way it should work? Does anyone has any thought, similar thought? No. Okay.
So we cannot declare the error value again, but I think we can make changes in that.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. What you said is absolutely correct. Which is the right point, right, to make. But when it comes to that discussion, right, there is a concept of call stack and heap memory, and we need to understand at which place the value gets stored, and how that mapping of values from stack to map to heap is happening, right? It works this very similar to how Java works, right? So there's no difference over there. It works very similar to that in the memory management space. So if you understand about Java, you can apply the same logics here and things will start making sense. But since we have not discussed it, I'll park it for one more two days, right? Once we start discussing the internals of JavaScript, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll start discussing this part and it will start making sense. Why this is allowed to be mutated.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we discussed about splice, right? I hope everyone understood splice now, right? So splice does what? It deletes the item, right? It deletes the items from the original array, and whatever you get from the array, right? You collect it, right? And it forms an array from it, right? And if you want to use that, you can use it. Okay, so we covered three methods now. One is add method. So we did the let me write. We covered the add method. We covered the slice method. We covered the splice methods. So splice method is one of those few methods which mutates the original array. Okay, right? See, once we will be done with the arrays and strings, right? I would see if I can find. I wanted to have a list of programs, right, which I wanted people to start solving based on the knowledge which we have gained till now by creating a lot of functions and providing the logic of those programs within that function itself, right? And submit those as the assignment. But I did not get the time to find or to get those programs. If anyone, right, is already practicing JavaScript and has some programs, right, which they think or has some reference to the site, please share with me. I would like to go through them, and if you have the programs handy, share it in the group. I would like people to now start writing the programs, right, to understand the syntax of JavaScript and start forming the logic using whatever concepts we are learning. Because I think we are pretty good in the basics of JavaScript now, and we are moving in the right direction and in the right pace now. So whatever knowledge we have should be sufficient for us to write the logic now, at least.
Sir,
Okay,
I
so
have a PDF, but it is for Java. Like answers are also given there, but we can use that questions and write the code in JavaScript. So if you want, I can share.
if those are related to strings and arrays, right, please do
Yes.
share. If but if
There are many things, but strings and arrays are also, I think, covered there.
Okay, yeah, please share. Otherwise, I will also try to find a link, and I would advise people, right, to please in the group itself, right, in the JavaScript channel itself, whatever problems you're able to solve, right, just give. I mean, whenever you're writing in the code, right, just copy that function, right, whatever program you're solving, just mention it on the top in the comments, and then start solving it, and share it in the group and share it in the group, right? So that even others can also follow it and start to remember, I mean, learn from that thing. Even if they are not practicing, they can at least start looking into the logic which someone is writing. Okay, please start doing that, and please hush, if you can share, please do share on the JavaScript channel only. Okay, and I will also try to see things, right, if I can give that so that you guys can practice. Okay, let's move ahead. So split and splice is done. What else? So we did this part, we did this part. Okay, so length also we covered, right? We also saw length, right? The length is a property. Okay, length is a property or a method? Length is a property,
Property.
right? Because if you would see it, although it shows here also, but in the editor, right? If you would see, it is given with a different kind of a sign icon also. The color thing, right? It's a purple and it's blue. But if you would check here, right? Everything else it shows as a method, but this one is a property, right?
So
So
what is the difference between properties and methods
okay,
here?
you have created Java class. Have you created a Java class earlier? I
Yes, sir.
mean, you know Java, right, Harsh?
Yes, sir.
Right? You know
Like
Java. So in Java, if you create a class and if you create a variable outside the class, right?
yes, sir.
So that is called like a property.
Okay.
So a variable of a class is called as a property. And if you create methods, right, within a class, those are like methods, right? And within the method, right, you can still have some variables getting created, right, within the methods, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, you can create, but those are called as property of the class.
No, sir.
No, those are like the local variables of that particular method, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the point of the discussion is, I'm just trying to teach you from the context of Java, since we have not discussed about objects in JavaScript. So try to understand, this is a class, and you can have what, you can have a property called, let's say, int age, right? So this is your property. And if you create a variable called public, let's say void calculate age, right? And you create a method, let's say you here also create a local variable, let's say local age, and you're using some you're writing a logic and returning something or what, right, you're doing. So try to understand, this is what, this is a method, this is a property. So property is like your variable, I mean, like a variable only, right, which you want to, where you want to assign a value, right?
Global variable.
This is an instance variable, not the local variable.
Okay. Okay.
This is called as a instance variable. We're talking Java language, right? And this one is called as the local variable, right, Amrin?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you got the pointers, right? What is
Yes,
the
sir.
property? This is a property, and you can see this is not a method, right? This is a
Yes.
property. Okay, so okay, let's move ahead. Where we were. So length, right? Length is what? Length is a property. So you don't have to do this. You will just leave it like this. So if you want to print the number of the length of the items which you have in the array, you will just do this part. You got 3, right? You should not be doing something like this. Let me see. I don't know like if it will work or not. It should not work. It's not a method. If it array needs to have a method with this signature, right? But I don't feel they have it, but let's try. You can see, right? Length is not a function. Okay. Okay, great. This will work, that will not work, right? Okay, great. So we covered the length part. We covered this. Okay, let's cover one more method and we'll close it for today. I don't want to cover more things. Another method which can mutate, right? Which can mutate. Let me comment this out. If you look at this, you have the original array, right? Let's say I ask you to, let's say, print the array in the reverse order, right? Like it's you, as of now, if I print array, it would print like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, and 6, right? I'm saying, okay, print in the reverse order. It should say 6, 15, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. In Java, let's say, okay, forget about JavaScript. If I ask you to do it in Java, how will you do it? Any logic you can think of in Java? I'm sure a lot of
we
people. Hmm,
we can start from the end, like length, the length of the string, like I equals to like add dot length,
right.
the add dot size in Java,
Hmm.
then like I greater than equal to 0.
So you will run a for loop, right?
Yes, and
You
then
will
I
I
run a
think
for
greater
loop,
than
and
that.
the. Mhm.
And with every iteration, like the first iteration will be the last index of the array, which is 6, and it will print, and then like we will store it in another array.
Mhm.
With every iteration, it will like uh, append to that array.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like that we can do
So, so,
reverse.
so you need to create a complete logic by yourself, right? To
Yes,
do everything about that reversing of the array, right?
yes,
And what you said is absolutely correct, right? You will have to start. You will have to find the length of the array. You will have to create a for loop where you will start from the end of the array and go till 0, and you will start decrementing the value of that index I, right, by 1 after every iteration, and use that index position on that array to extract that value. And as you said, you will create a new array where you will start putting that those values, right, at the right index position. Correct?
yes, sir.
Right? I hope everyone agrees. This is one of the way. I'm sure there could be more ways, but this is one of the solutions. In JavaScript, how will you do it?
you mentioned some function was there reverse.
Right. So we don't have to do any of this, right? See how easy it is, right? I don't have to do anything. I just have to call that method. That's why I was saying, I mean, see, JavaScript has a lot of good methods, arrays, right? I mean, especially arrays. So there is nothing I have to do. I have to just say array dot reverse, and that's it. I don't need to do anything else. I'll just say reverse array dot reverse, and now see this. Okay, okay. One more thing. If you see this, right, reverse here, what does it return? Let's see. Reverse is the element in an array in place. This method it mutates the array and returns a reference to the same array. So it mutates the same array, right? So if I do the reverse, and let's say I print console.log, what it will print? It will. We are saying reference to the original array, right? Array only, right? Which is this part. Will it print this only? No,
Reverse.
because it has mutated, right? You have to understand there are methods which mutate, right? And this is one of those methods. So if you do a reverse, right, on the array, you have to be mindful that it will make an impact on the original array itself. So your original array will not be now 0, 1, 2, 3. It will be 6, 15, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's run this. See, 6, 15, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. If you were thinking const array 2 equals to this, and if I print console dot log, that okay, I can that okay, I am reversing it, and whatever output I am getting, right, I am storing into this array, and only this will be this is what the reverse array would be, and there is no impact on the original array. No, that is not the case, right? The original array gets mutated, right? So you have to remember actually, right, that which method does what. But there are only handful of methods which mutates the original array. So we learned about splice, which mutates the original array. There is something called reverse, which mutates the original array. See, okay. Splice we have talked about, and we just talked about reverse also. Okay, I hope this is you agree on this part, right? So we have talked about 5 methods of arrays: at, slice, splice, length is a property, and reverse, right? Out of this discussion, splice and reverse are the mutable methods. I mean, those are those methods which results into the mutation of the original array. Okay. Okay, let's stop here, right? I don't want to take much more time. Bye. Thank you. Bye.